Hello, Our Lady of Greenwood. Welcome to our little 3 minutes in one take. This weekend, we celebrate the Feast of the Triumph of the Cross, and this weekend, we're also kicking off our capital campaign. Just like to say a few things about the capital campaign. A lot of times there's some questions as to why we're doing it or what's the purpose. So is this a good time to begin the capital campaign to renovate the church is often a question even I ask myself. Oops, I think I just hit the microphone there. Brothers and sisters, I just don't ever think there is this ideal moment when the economy is perfect, we're flush with cash, and like there's no violence and everything's at peace in the world. There is no, if you will, good time to begin it. If we waited for a perfect time, I sometimes think we would never do anything. So we're going to just begin it, and we're going to trust that God will provide us with the money that we need to do what we'd like to do to help renovate our church. Another way to think about it is think of all the money that's used to destroy or in the interest of violence, and we're going to do the opposite, right? We're going to use our resources to build and to create a place of peace. Sometimes the question is, don't we need to be focusing on other things? This is going to take up a lot of our time, and I would say, of course we should focus on other things. This is just one aspect of the ministry. The whole point of a church renovation is to have a place to pray, to celebrate the sacraments, to sort of be the font from which all of our other ministries flow. And so, yes, we will continue to help the poor. We're going to continue to do things to bring about good. $200,000 of our resources every year are used for the food pantry, for money for Haiti, for rent and bill assistance. We've started a ministry to help the homeless. These things aren't going to stop just because we're doing a capital campaign. And I also think it's important to remember as well, we're renovating our church, not just, it's for everybody. So even, people who are poor are going to be welcome and participate in the worship that we do in our church. Isn't the church fine? Does it look fine the way it is? Why would we need to renovate the church? I would make the case maybe it doesn't really look so fine. Things are a little bit run down. The carpet is worn, the pews are worn, things along those lines. Is it the best cared for? I guess I would say it like this. The place where we worship God, brothers and sisters, should be the most beautiful and well-kept place on our campus. And so when we have an opportunity to make it more beautiful, to really make it look up like a place where we honor and worship our God, who our creator, I think that's important to consider, that this really should be the most beautiful and well cared for space on our campus. And right now it looks a little worn down and a little run down. And I think we want to make some changes so that it doesn't look that way anymore. And it looks beautiful, holy, and sacred. The final thing I would say is this the best way to use our resources? And I don't know, this is kind of what I think of. I did a little bit of research. This apartment complex across the street, that was an $83 million project. The annual revenue of the NFL was somewhere in the neighborhood of $23 billion. I looked up Lucas Oil Stadium, costs $720 million. And I looked up just this random movie. To be fair, it was The Conjuring Last Rites. It made $187 million in one weekend. Amazon profits over the last fiscal year was probably in the neighborhood of $70 billion. We are asking for $5 million only over a 3-year period to do what we need to do. Obviously, get more, that'd be great, but that's all we're asking. And so putting it in perspective, we use our resources for all sorts of things, sports, movies, fun times, etc. Why not also consider, yes, we do use our resources to make sure God's house is beautiful, cared for, and well kept. And so I invite you to consider a donation to the capital campaign as we kick it off this weekend. But blessings to you, and just thank you in general for your participation in the life and ministry of our church. God bless.